Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back. Welcome if you're new here. I was, as usual, quite frequently usual anyways, hearing some things coming through the grapevine, so to speak, as I was sitting here and getting ready to record a message for the collective. I was hearing, first and foremost, both of these. Okay, thank you, Spirit. First and foremost, I was hearing get on my frequency or bounce. Okay. And then I heard muddying up the playing field. And I was actually seeing like kind of like a baseball field. And the grass is getting all like messed up and muddied up from this like hooligan running around in the dirt, like just goofing off, so to speak, in the what is it called? The outfield? Is that what it is? I'm not a sports watcher. But I was envisioning that when I heard muddying up the field, muddying up the playing field, okay? And then I heard sequence of events. And then lastly, I heard imposter. And then that moved over to imposter syndrome. So I don't know. I don't know what energy I'm tapping into for this message, but those are the things that were coming forward as I was setting up here. Let's go ahead and see what we have to work with here with cards. All right, we have contract. Get on my frequency or bounce. This might be talking about some kind of contract. And now my mind's going over to like a contract, like I apologize, I am not a sports person, but like a contract in the way of like, I guess how they hire their players or whatever. But being mindful of a contract. Let's see what the others are. We have cornucopia. Okay. And we have rest and rejuvenation. I'm hearing a contract has played out. In other words, some kind of contract has ended. And cornucopia is bringing me to having a lot of options for something. This could be tying into what was channeled through get on my frequency or bounce. Maybe a contract between whoever this message is for and someone else has ended. And there's coming a time for like re-signing of such contract. And I'm not sure if we're speaking of an actual contract in the 3D or if we're speaking about like soul contracts. But either way, the contract has come to an end. And basically, I feel like this person is telling the other person or entity or whatever we're speaking of here, that if they don't step up their game and get on your frequency, then they need to leave, basically, is what I'm getting from this so far. Because you have so many more options available to you at this point, at this ending point. And you're looking at a lot of bigger and better things in your horizons. And I feel like you're really contemplating this. The fact that this dude in this card is meditating, right? He's holding it within his menti. He's really thinking it over, so to speak, and analyzing who can come with and who needs to bounce, who needs to go, who needs to, go do their own thing. Because I just heard, because I can't take everyone. And those who are chosen to go with you, so to speak, are ones who vibe at your frequency. And if they can't vibe at your frequency, then they gotta go. Because whatever this next step is, now that this contract has ended, whatever you want to go into next, it's going to involve something a lot more restful and a lot more like chill, instead of like overworking yourself It's something that is rejuvenating, something that adds to your vitality instead of taking away at this point, is the vibe that I'm getting here. All right, Spirit, can we get a little bit more maybe on what this contract is that's being talked about here? First and foremost, a little clarity on this guy in particular, this contract. What is it about the contract here? What is, it's something, there's that muddying up the playing field too. It's like, if they don't get on your frequency, right, they have to go because they're muddying up the playing field. They're making a mess of things, is the vibe that I'm feeling here. I saw this one. So, oh crap. We have to find something to cover that. Let's see. Okay, so we have the star that's coming in as a clarifier card for the contract. So go with me on this for a second, because I'm not really feeling this as like the literal meaning of the star card in Tarot right now. What Spirit is taking me to is the imagery in particular of how she is taking the water here and she's pouring it on land, okay? So she's taking from one thing and pouring into another. And I feel like that is kind of what this contract is about. It's like a contract of taking something from somewhere else and bringing it to somewhere else, if that makes sense. And I just heard transfer of funds as well. All right, Spirit. Transfer of funds. And we have the Six of Coins. The transfer of funds. Okay. And then we have the Six of Swords, leaving behind. All right. Obviously, I said that you're leaving this contract behind at this point. That's the vibes I was getting. Transfer of funds. Taking from one thing and putting it into another. Investments, maybe, since we're talking about funds, might be like an investment contract and the time is up on it. I don't know. Whatever it's involving, I feel like you were giving more than you were receiving with this contract. And now that it's up, you're ready to bounce yourself because there's better things on the horizons. It's like you're leaving that behind and you are slowly going towards the cornucopia here. And the vibrancy and the frequency of the cornucopia as well. Not necessarily meant for those who you are leaving behind here. Okay? I don't know why, but maybe for some of you out there, this could be kind of speaking of some kind of inheritance as well. With the money transfer, the transferring of funds, a contract ending could be an actual soul contract ending because of a death in the family or something like that. I don't know. But for some of you, that could be what this is speaking of, because it was brought up for some reason, right? Let's go ahead and tap in and get some clarity on this cornucopia, this new thing that you are leaving this contract behind in order to go into. What is this cornucopia have in store for you? What are you headed towards at this time? Okay. We've got the King of Pentacles. Something more dependable, more stable, and more security. Something that is more secure. Having this cornucopia energy on lock is what I heard. Having that on lock, being sure-footed about it, being on stable grounds with it, being able to sit firmly with it, which will then in turn lead you kind of back to this Six of Coins energy in being generous with those around you who are on the correct frequency to receive it. is what I'm hearing. All right, so King of Pentacles, is there anything else with this cornucopia energy here that the collective is moving towards? Cool, we got two more. Wow, got the Devil. I do have to find something else to cover that up. I guess I can just put them like that. We've got the Devil, and then we have the Knight of Wands. So, taking a fiery action towards this devil energy, this also could be another contract that is falling apart right now and ending, is a contract with the devil, so to speak, you know, proverbially, leaving behind attachments, leaving behind addictions, leaving behind low frequency vibrations. Even the fact that we started out with this get on my frequency or bounce, right? Because the devil kind of says the same thing. Like, stay down here or you'll bounce, you know what I mean? So there's that kind of like passion with a purpose is what I heard. Okay. You have a certain amount of lust for this like cornucopia vibe, right? But it is something that is very high vibrational. And so when I say the word lust here in this context, it's not necessarily a bad thing. You took inspired actions in order to defeat this kind of energy within your life. Others around you may not be doing the same thing as you are, right? And they're muddying up the playing field now that you've reached a whole nother level. And now you are ready to move on from that, right? And some of those people are not. They're still making a mess of things, making a mess in their surroundings, which is surrounding you as well. And you're done with that. That's what I hear. You are so done with that. And that you're just literally ready to bounce out. And I just heard, if they don't bounce, I will, right? So it's not necessarily like them needing to leave either. It's more so of like, if you don't bring up your vibrational levels to match mine, I am not sticking around. It's that type of vibe here. Because you're moving into more of this, more serenity, more peace within yourself, more rejuvenation. It's time to rest. You're an old soul as well. You have a lot of experience from many different past lives. Excuse me 1 second while I pick that one up. I only laugh because I also need to get something to cover this one up with. I'm just gonna grab one of my jewelry pieces here. And I also laughed because we have the world, okay? That's literally what you're moving towards. It's like, you're an old soul. You've accomplished a lot of things in this lifetime and in the past. You've really worked on this energy being cut out, you know? You've released yourself from being attached to anything, especially in the material realms as well. Yes, all this material is awesome. The King of Pentacles energy mixed with the cornucopia. It's like everything is at your fingertips here. And you have a certain amount of gratitude for it. But you're also at a point where you don't need to stay attached to it either. Okay? It's just something that is given because of the fact that you have spent so much time following your passions, right? And keeping your energy right. Really working on keeping your own energy correct And I just heard because I want to come correct. And that's exactly what you're doing. And now the universe is giving you the world, right? So to speak. You also might be getting ready to travel as well. That might be part of that rest and rejuvenation. There's all those choices, right? With the cornucopia, you have so many choices that you're moving towards. So many more opportunities beyond the imagination. King of Swords. Going back to the star here, now the literal term of the star is kicking in here. I knew Spirit was going to do that. There is a healing that's being brought to this old contract. Okay? And so this might be talking about someone in the collective who it's more along the lines of like a soul contract or something that turned into more of like a healing opportunity. Something needed to be healed, right? And now that this healing took place, this contract is done. It's like you're done. You're an old soul. You completed what you came here to do originally, and now you have time to move on and be in this restful rejuvenation energy with the world at your fingertips and sitting on this knowledge that you have as well. Holding your sword of truth. It's like you made it through all of this with a certain amount of precision as well. And you kept stuff legit. You kept it honest the entire time. And so that's why the King of Swords is able to sit within the King of Pentacles energy as well. And have so many opportunities coming his way or her way. And becoming a leader as well. With the ones that you take with you. Becoming a leader. Showing them the way. Keeping the grass of the field nice and green. And getting rid of what muddies it up. Take that however that means to you. So it's the removal of that kind of energy here. It's the walking away from it here. And moving into something where you have so many more options to choose from. So many more peaceful ones too. Instead of being surrounded by their chaos. And at the bottom of the deck, as if we needed it, but we have the Magician, right? We've got the Magician. We've got the Nine of Cups. And then we've got the Chariot. Okay? You're moving quickly towards this new horizon that is before you. Yes, it could look a little confusing as to where to go from here now that this contract has ended, right? But just know that any other of these options that are being offered to you are way better from where you started from. It doesn't matter which one you choose at this point, the happiness is going to be there. The satisfaction. That's also what the cornucopia kind of represents too, is satisfaction, right? And stability. Stability. And most importantly, there's that comfort. Because in comfort, there is rest. There's rejuvenation. One can't fully rest unless they're comfortable, right? Through all of these actions that you took, all of these redirections that you took, all while having to be surrounded in energies that did not want to follow in the footsteps, I heard. I think the one last thing that needs to be let go of here is the worry about them. Okay? Don't worry about leaving that behind. Because ultimately, It's their choice. They have choices too, right? And you can't make the choices for them, and they can't make choices for you, right? And so if they choose to stay at a lower frequency, if they choose to stay within this devil energy, that's on them. Get on my frequency or bounce. That's that point where you're at. And don't feel bad. That's what Spirit said. Don't feel bad about that. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this one here. Thank you guys so much once again for being here. If you're new, if you're resonating, if you like my frequency, please consider subscribing, clicking the notification bell as well, because let's just face it, the algorithm on here sucks. All right. Thank you guys so much for your presence. I love you guys very much. Until next time, peace.